We're going to talk about round corners. You can see here in my Photoshop layout, I've carved out a large area for my content to go into, and it has some transparency, it has a border, and it also has round corners. I do not want to bring this in as a graphic. The problem with that is if I hand this off to the client and there's dramatically more copy or content than what's intended, how is this going to stretch? How is it going to look good if more copy needs to flow in there? So if we can use some expandability, if we can use some of the features in CSS, we can avoid that. On the handout that you can download from Blackboard, the CSS special effect, it's actually called csscorners.pdf. There are some properties that you can add to existing rules for round corners. Note that there are two properties, and you have to include both. The Mozilla border radius, Mozilla, is for versions of Firefox. WebKit is for versions of Safari. All this radius is a number that you can experiment with and increase or decrease the amount of roundness on those corners. You might be asking, well, where's our little fix for Explorer? These CSS special effects will not work on Internet Explorer. So yes, we're leaving out a huge portion of our viewing audience. So you really have to think, how crucial is that round corner? Are you okay with leaving some people out? They degrade very nicely. If you put these border radius properties onto your div tag and someone is using Explorer, it will show up as the normal square corner div that it was intended to be. They just won't know. But again, you need to ask yourself how important that is to you. So I'm going to start out with a situation that I have all four corners are the same. And there are minus signs here, hyphens, and several hyphens throughout. So just in case I might make an error in typing, I'm just going to copy from the PDF. Make sure that I have all of that information. Edit. Copy. All right, I'm going to head over to Dreamweaver now, where I have my layout started. And I already have the div tag in place. It's called main. It already has a transparent ping creating this tiled background. It already has a border and a little bit of content. So I need to add those properties to this main rule. There's no place, if I edit this rule, there's no place here in any of these categories that I can add this. So you can look and look, but you're not going to find anything in here. You need to go and add those properties into the rule itself in the code view. So when I split my view or go just to code view, I'm looking for my main rule, and all the properties that I've used already are listed. So at the bottom of that list of properties, I will return and paste. And here are the two new properties. So I now should be able to hit live view and see the results of what that 3x does. So obviously, if that's too rounded, I'd want to drop that down to 2 or 1. If I wanted a more dramatic rounding, I could increase that. But it's very stable. It will, preview nicely in the different browsers, and you'll have a nice round corner box. Again, it's not going to work in Explorer, so factor that in as you are designing. The properties that we just added will very nicely round all four corners, but I want to head back out to the PDF and note that there's another category that will let you tackle individual corners, and they're broken up into the two distinct sections: the properties that you have to add to affect Firefox browsers, and then the properties that you have to add for Safari browsers. Now you can pick and choose which of these you want to work with, and they don't have to be in this particular order either. So I'm not really sure what I want to do yet, so I'm going to highlight this entire list, and I'm just copying right from the PDF file, just because again I'm kind of a not very accurate typer. So I'm going to copy Command C and head back to Dreamweaver, go on over to my code view. In the main div, I'm going to go ahead and strip out the properties that I added previously, which rounded all of the corners, and in their place, paste that whole sort of collection. And I'm going to go in and separate, just visually put a separation between the Mozilla set and the WebKit set. Alright, well, I'm going to make the decision to only round the top right and the bottom left. So I could either comment out or just delete the ones that I don't want to use. I need to make sure that I'm using the similar choice for the WebKit. So top left, I don't want that. And bottom right, I don't want that one. So top right, bottom left, bottom left. Okay. And when I come back to my design view, alright, so I have kind of an interesting shape here. And the whole point being, I don't have to round everything. I can leave some square. And these could also be different diameters as well. So let's head over and explore that. Maybe the top right, for dramatic effect, I will have those both be 10. And I'll leave the bottom left at 3. Alright. So you can see, just by experimenting with the numbers, you can get some really unusual shapes, and that's going to lend some very unique spark to your designs.